In this tutorial, I'm going to show you how to make a passport-sized photo in Photoshop. Now, a few best practices here with your passport photos. First off, you want it to be a color photo within the last 6 months. It needs to be not overexposed. Make sure it's taken on a white background. That could be a white wall also. Don't have it be a selfie. Make sure you have someone take it for you or set up a tripod and set the timer on your phone or your camera to take it. And you can't do any photo retouching or filters on your photo. Now here's some examples down here. You want some good lighting. Make sure there's no harsh shadows involved. Do not wear your glasses. Glasses are not allowed. And then last, there's a few more here. I'll leave a link to this page, by the way. But if you need to size this properly, and we want to do it in Photoshop, it needs to be 2 inches by 2 inches. That's also 600 pixels by 600 pixels. So we'll make sure that we set up the proper document, whether you're going to be mailing it in or applying online and submitting the digital version of your photo. So let's head over to Photoshop. Now here in Photoshop, we're going to click on New File. It's going to be in the upper left-hand corner when you open Photoshop, and we're going to get this New Document dialog. Now we're going to make sure that we set this to inches. We're going to set it to 2 inches by 2 inches. And then the resolution needs to be 300 pixels per inch. This will cover you whether you're going to have to print this or you're going to submit it digitally. I would say RGB color mode is fine because it's going to be okay printed, but also that's how the mode would be for digital submission. And the background contents you can keep as white. We're going to create that document. So we've got a 2 inch by 2 inch canvas here. Now we need to bring in our photo. So you can go navigate to wherever you have your photo, and you're going to be able to drag it in here or go to File, down to Place. Right here you have two options, Place Embedded or Place Linked. I would do Place Embedded. Now we're going to navigate to our photo. Mine I just put in my downloads, should be the most recent thing, and we're going to place that image in as a JPEG and hit Place. Now I've got this image in here, and the first thing it allows you to do is resize it. So that's what I want to do, is make sure I get this sized in here properly based on the guidelines of the Passport Photo website. So we're going to click and drag on this. Now, if it's skewing your image, like for instance, you see how it's pulling my image down like this, you may need to hold Shift, but you may not. So right now I don't have to hold Shift. It kind of depends on the settings of your Photoshop program. So make sure you hold Shift, make sure you don't skew this image, or make sure that it's scaling proportionally. So I'm going to size this down and then bring this up a little until I'm in the frame properly. And once you have that size the way you want it, press the return key on your keyboard to commit that change, if you will. So I'm sized in here. And now what you would do is, if you wanted to submit this digitally, you would save this as a JPEG. And to do that, you would go to File, Save a Copy. And then you can save this copy. In the Format section, you'll want to change it to JPEG. Then you can give it a title like Passport. And then you can save that to wherever you want to save it. This is a Mac, so you can just navigate to the folder. In this case, I'll just save it to my downloads and hit Save. For quality, make sure this is maximized here, so all the way to the right. And then you can just hit OK on the JPEG options. So now we have that passport photo saved. If you need to make any tweaks as far as the size, like I'm not sure if I have too much negative space up here with my head, I might need to maybe lift this image up a little bit just to fit me in here better. I'd have to go look at all the requirements over on the website. But this right here, if we look at our image size, we go to Image, down to Image Size, we can see here that the dimensions are 600 by 600 pixels, which is the proper dimensions for the digital format. But also, if we switch this to inches, that's also the 2 by 2 at 300 pixels per inch. That actually makes sense because 300 pixels for 1 inch would be 600 pixels for 2 inches, right? 300 times 2. And that makes sense for the dimensions up here. So that's why it works for both the printed version and the digital version. And also this printed version at 2 inches at 300 pixels per inch, that is the highest quality as far as a printed version. So that's why we use that 300 pixels per inch. So we don't need to do anything here. We can hit cancel. But this is how you can make a passport size photo in Photoshop.